This is such a special place of great significance to all Australians. This was the land of the Gadigal people, and up there on the rock face you can still see their carvings and their middens. And right here in 1788 is where Captain Arthur Phillip first landed. It was the first contact that Europeans had with Sydney Harbour. In a way, it's our Plymouth Rock, 1788. This unique peninsula is now under threat by the very agency meant to protect it, the Office of Environment and Heritage.
I really don't think it's a good idea that the National Parks and Wildlife hand over 6 buildings to a single developer. What it means is this place will become a party precinct.
So I'm up here at Gap Bluff in the National Park, where there are birds in the angophoras and there are blue tongues under the banksias. And it's a gift, this place. The thought that it could be 7 days a week, weddings, parties, cars, you name it, just fills me with horror.
It's not about not developing these sites. We'd love to breathe new life into those sites, but honestly, it's just a really bad project. Handing our parklands to one big commercial developer is not in the public interest. It's not a good idea. It needs to be taken off the table.
Nearly everyone in the community comes through the store, and the overwhelming response from the people of Watsons Bay and Camp Cove is negative.
I've lived in Watsons Bay now for over 40 years, and understandably I'm very passionate about this little area. I live in an historic house which has no off-street parking, but I'm zen about people coming in the summer to the beach, the day trippers. But the idea of turning this area into a wedding factory is just out of the question.
Another thing about doing this up here at Gap Bluff is that noise is going to be a huge issue. This beautiful landform acts like an amphitheatre, so there will be music and wedding speeches booming out across the whole area. Residents and visitors within a 5-kilometre range are going to be impacted by this.
Can you imagine what it would be like to have a 72-seat restaurant in that small cottage down at the far end of the beach? The impact of a restaurant of that size would absolutely ruin the tranquility and the beauty of this historic area.
If I was standing here with the development as proposed, I wouldn't be able to be here, because this is an area which is an extension for the outdoor dining spaces, which by anyone's judgment ought to be considered as a right-of-way for access to South Head National Park. It's a beautiful lawn with an overview of the beach and a perfect site for a small kiosk.
I've met people from Penrith who come out every weekend from Penrith all the way, because this is one of the very last beaches in Sydney where they can get the peace and tranquility.
We love the beauty of Camp Cove. We love coming down here for a picnic, and we feel that a development here would really ruin the ambience.
We don't want the commercialisation of Camp Cove Beach at all.
I live just around the corner from Greenpoint College. My biggest concern is, it's such a beautiful house as it is, but I don't want that to become a party house. It doesn't fit the area. It's nestled so nicely in the bushes there, and it's just such a beautiful piece on its own. I'm a builder, so I'm all for development, but there's some pieces that should be left alone.
Watsons Bay already has 7 function centres. There are so many restaurants and places to dine. We don't need another one. In the summer, 4,000 people come into Watsons Bay every weekend. If these function centres go ahead, that'll increase it by 30%. And we just don't have the capacity.
It's not going to be able to cope with the noise, with the traffic and just the general congestion.
On any sunny weekend, beachgoers are queued up fighting for parking spaces.
Traffic is a real problem. As you can see, there's cars non-stop, and particularly down in Camp Cove, the streets are narrow, there's limited parking.
There's one road in, there's one road out. This project, if it went ahead, would be a total disaster.
I believe if it does go ahead, the impact will be severe. It'll affect people's lives, and I just don't think it is appropriate.
This is such a fragile little peninsula with its historic buildings and its fringe of National Park. It's too much, no more development.
The young kids love it, the cool kids love it. There's a lot of retired people who spend their days here. It's just a very special place, and people love it the way it is.
Enough's enough. We've reached saturation point. Let's stop this development now.
And it would make me derelict in my duty if I didn't say we have to stop this. We can't let it happen.
We really have to write to the Minister. Every single letter, even if it's like one paragraph, write it, because we're the only thing standing between this approval and it going ahead. It goes ahead and we have nowhere to turn.